Ever since I was a little kid, I have had an interest in all things strange and unusual. One of the things that caught my interest back then were shrunken heads. That's right, shrunken heads. Or perhaps I would be better to say that the ones that were attainable by me were, of course, fake. But I remember going to the Saginaw Fair in Saginaw County, of course, with my mom and dad when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. And one of the things I walked away with, I remember several years in a row, was a black rubber shrunken head with this hair applied to it, and they were really cool looking and really rather scary looking. And then later, I remember for one Christmas I got a toy from, I think Mattel made it, called the Thing Maker. They also made the creepy crawlers. But the Thing Maker, you could make all kinds of creepy things with. And one of the things you could make with it was the base part of a shrunken head. And I used to make those and bloody and realistic as I possibly could, and mount them on pencils and things. And they were pretty damn awesome. I have to say. But there have been many headhunting cultures in reality throughout the world. I mean, heck, even the French had guillotine, and look at today with ISIS. They behead anybody that won't convert to their fanatical religious beliefs. But neither of these did or do what they do to produce a shrunken head. The Javaro Indian tribes live deep in the jungles of Ecuador and Peru. They don't do it anymore, as far as anyone knows, but as recently as 100 years ago, they were ardent head shrinkers. The Javaro tribes were constantly at war with other neighboring tribes and with each other, and they collected the heads of their fallen enemies as war trophies. The head, once shrunk, was called a sansha. For the Javaro, the creation of a sansha ensured good luck, and it prevented the soul of the fallen enemy from seeking its awful revenge. As Western explorers came in increasing contact with the Febraury tribes in the late 19th century, shrunken heads became a popular souvenir. Traders would barter guns, ammo, and other useful items for shrunken heads. This arms for heads trade caused the killing to climb rapidly, prompting the Peruvian and Ecuadorian governments to outlaw head shrinking in the early 1900s. If you buy a head today, it's guaranteed to be fake. But how did they do it? How do you take a life-size head with a skull in it and shrink it down to, a much, much, much smaller size? Here is the Javaro recipe for a genuine shrunken heads, and I would say, don't try this at home. It could be dangerous. First, you peel the skin and hair from the skull, and you discard the actual skull. You sew the eyes and mouth openings closed, trapping the soul inside so that it won't haunt you later on. Turn inside out and scrape any fat away using a sharp knife. Add jungle herbs to a pot of water and bring it to a boil, and add the head and simmer for 1 to 2 hours. Remove from water, fill with hot stones, rolling constantly to prevent from scorching the inside, and you repeat this with successively smaller pebbles as the head shrinks. Mold facial features between each step, hang it over the fire to dry, and polish it with ashes. Moisturize it with berries to prevent cracking, and sew neck hole closed, and then trim hair to taste. Well, that might be something that Hannibal Lecter would enjoy trying out, but I find it kind of interesting because of my fascination with the fake shrunken heads that I got as a kid.